How are Archie and Olivia? How are your parents doing down there in New Orleans? And I know your brother Cooper's down there too with his family.
Yeah, my parents are down there. Cooper and his family, as we all know, New Orleans is a hot spot. So
Hmm.
they're being very careful. They're hunkered down at home. Cooper goes by to visit my parents, but stands on the front lawn and kind of talks to my parents via distance. So
Yeah.
they're following proper social distancing guidelines. But yeah, our thoughts and prayers are with everybody in this country, but especially
Hmm.
those places that are affected. In a big way, places like New York, where Eli lives, places like New Orleans. There's a lot of people hurting out there right now that need our help and our prayers. And so all those people are on our minds all the time.
Kind of nice that, we have some things like what we're doing for 9 straight hours coming up at the
Wow,
top of the
it's a
hour.
lot
Yep.
of Peyton. It's a
And
lot of Peyton coming up. I
yeah.
apologize.
Hey, we're just giving America what they want. What can
I
I
don't know.
say?
We'll see.
During those Peyton's places, which, I was going to say it is a nice distraction to just be able to sit there, and watch something like this. Was there one memorable episode, something that still sticks with you?
I think just the conversations that I got to have with Joe Namath. I mean, to sit down and watch Super Bowl III with Joe Namath, to watch the actual game film, I could have done that for a week. And just seeing his recall of this game from Super Bowl III, he's talking about it as if the game was last week, as if I was talking to Patrick Mahomes about the Super Bowl against the 49ers. So that was fascinating to me. I enjoyed that, but we had a lot of fun as well. Probably the most enjoyable one, sort of the most out of the box one for me, was spending time with the Bears super fans. When you're sitting
Yeah.
down having a beer and eating a pork chop with George Wendt, talking about the Bears, and they transformed me into a super fan. They baptized me in Italian Italian broth and beer, and I became a Mike Ditka lookalike. So a lot of things we did were enjoyable, but telling the history of the NFL for the past 100 years was a lot of fun. And hopefully, Hannah, when things get back to normal, we're going to shoot for season 2 to finish some of the stories that we didn't get to tell last year. So hopefully, once things get back to normal, we can get a chance to do that.
Oh, that's very cool. All right, didn't realize. See, your breaking news. Here we are.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm trying to
Hey,
help out.
another little piece of news. Obviously, we have the draft this week, and when you and I were speaking during the commercial break, you shared with me that Joe Burrow, the presumptive #1 overall pick, actually called you for some advice, you being the top pick back in 1998. So what can you share with us about that conversation?
Yeah, Joe called me last week. Obviously, we have somewhat of a relationship since he came down to our football camp last summer. I try to stay in touch with all the quarterbacks that come down to the camp if I can be a resource for them, especially as they approach their NFL dreams. But what an exciting year Joe had. And just he called me about some of the things that I tried to do when I was a rookie that maybe he can apply to his NFL career. Looks like it's going to be with the Cincinnati Bengals. And look, what I told him, I said, Joe, when you're the first pick in the NFL draft, you are going to a team that has really earned the first pick in the NFL draft.
Right.
There are going to be some holes there. And there's a reason the Colts were picking #1 that year. There's a reason the Bengals are picking #1 this year, the Giants when they had Eli. So other people have to step up. They have to give them some help. But for him, I tried to tell him it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Look, I lost more games my rookie year than I had my entire high school and college career combined. I threw 26 interceptions. That's still an NFL record. If Joe wants to break that, Hannah, I'd
Yeah.
be okay with that. We'd still be friends. But I tried to learn a lot that year. I played every game. Jim Mora never took me out. I learned some things in the fourth quarter of those blowouts about what it took to be an NFL quarterback. And the next year, we went from 3-13 to 13-3. That wouldn't have happened had I not hung in there and kind of learned the ropes as a rookie, even though we took some bumps and bruises. So that's what I tried to encourage Joe and all the NFL quarterbacks, that your rookie year is not going to be the same as your senior year in college. But if you learn how fast these defensive backs are, how soon you have to get rid of the ball, understand defenses. You can become a better player and really get it going the year or two after that.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible perspective that only you can offer. And you're also the only quarterback in NFL history to win a Super Bowl with 2 different teams. But there is a fella you might be familiar with who's gone down to Florida now that would love to join you. What'd you make of Tom Brady's decision to join the Bucs?
Well, yeah, that was interesting. I talked to Tom at different times, but never really about that actual decision. And so, but he seems happy. He seems excited. I'm a little surprised he jumped over to the NFC. I always see Tom Brady as an AFC guy. So he's going to have to go through initiation to learn the ropes of the NFC. But they got a great team around him, it sounds like. Bruce Arians was my quarterback's coach in that rookie season in my first few years in the NFL. Tom Moore, my offensive coordinator, is down there. Clyde Christensen. So Tom's going down to get coached by some guys that I'm very familiar with, guys that know football, that love football. Everybody knows how hard he's going to work. He's got a tough division. I don't think the Saints and the Falcons and the Panthers are going to just let the Bucs kind of roll into town. So it should be making for some interesting divisional games and matchups. And I think, like everybody can't wait for football to hopefully get back and to be on time. That will tell us that things are more back to normal when football comes back. And that's what we're all looking for, is getting back to some type of normalcy.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.